You've probably tried to lose weight before, and you've probably gained it all back within a year. Nearly everyone who succeeds at losing weight fails at keeping it off, and almost no one tells you why. You've been told it's genetics, or willpower, or some secret discipline you simply don't have. That's completely wrong, and the real reason is far more encouraging than you think. Most people spend all their energy losing weight instead of building a body that naturally stays lean. Today, you're going to learn the entire roadmap from your very first habit to your final lifelong system. But first, we need to fix the biggest mistake almost everyone makes before they even start. You've seen someone online with razor-sharp abs and thought, that's exactly what I want. There's nothing wrong with having a big goal for your body. The problem is expecting your body to skip every single step. Nobody climbs a mountain by teleporting straight to the summit instantly. You climb it slowly, one section, one foothold, one breath at a time. Getting lean works exactly the same predictable, patient, step-by-step way. If you're carrying extra body fat right now, forget chasing a six-pack immediately. Your only job right now is becoming healthier than you were yesterday. That might mean losing your first 10 pounds without obsessing over the scale. It might mean walking upstairs without gasping for breath halfway up. It might simply mean fitting into jeans that haven't fit in years. Those small victories matter more than any imagined future version of you. Most people quit because they compare their Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 20. They forget every lean, muscular person once started exactly where you are now. The only difference is they kept moving instead of demanding instant magical results. Think of fat loss as a series of small, satisfying checkpoints stacked together. First, your clothes quietly start fitting looser than they used to. Then your waistline shrinks, and your face slowly starts looking leaner too. Your energy improves, and people start noticing changes before you even do. Then one ordinary day, you look in the mirror and barely recognize yourself. Real transformation is never one giant leap forward overnight. It's hundreds of tiny, boring wins quietly stacking on top of each other. And the very first win is far simpler than you expect. You don't need a complicated diet plan or hours of punishing cardio. You just need a few small daily habits that quietly, steadily compound. Here's the mistake keeping millions of people permanently stuck in this cycle. They believe change requires completely rebuilding their entire life overnight. So they buy a gym membership and throw away every snack immediately. They cut all carbs and promise themselves 6 brutal workouts weekly. For a few days, motivation feels incredible and everything seems to be working. Then real life interrupts with a stressful week or family dinner. One missed workout quietly becomes 3 missed workouts within days. One cheat meal turns into an entire lost weekend of guilt. Before long, they're standing exactly back where they originally started from. The real problem was never a lack of motivation or discipline. The real problem was trying to build an entirely new life instantly. Instead, let's make your very first step almost impossible to fail. Start with one thing only, a 30-minute walk most days. No sprinting, no exhausting sessions, just consistent, simple, everyday walking outside. It sounds too simple to matter, but that's exactly why it works. Walking quietly increases how many calories your body burns each day. It does this without wrecking your joints or overwhelming your nervous system. More importantly, it's a habit almost anyone can sustain for months. Next, take one honest, unemotional look at your current daily diet. Not everything, just the obvious culprits hiding in plain sight daily. The dessert you eat every single night without really thinking about it. The sugary coffee you grab automatically on your drive to work. The weekend drinks that quietly add hundreds of invisible extra calories. You don't need to eliminate these things completely or forever. Just reduce them slightly, because momentum matters far more than perfection does. When the scale finally moves and your clothes start fitting differently, something shifts. You stop forcing healthy habits and slowly start genuinely wanting them instead. That's the exact moment your transformation truly, quietly begins to take hold. Small habits repeated daily don't create small results over time. They create an entirely different body, one boring, consistent day at a time. Now, here's where most people's entire fat loss journey completely changes direction. Until now, you've focused purely on burning calories through walking and eating less. That's exactly right for where you started. But eventually, something has to shift. Simply trying to burn more calories eventually stops being enough on its own. You need to start building the one tissue that makes staying lean effortless. That tissue is muscle, and most people completely misunderstand what it actually does. They think muscle is only about looking bigger or more impressive visually. It's actually one of the most powerful metabolic tools your entire body owns. Picture your body as a house with one small storage closet inside. If that closet fills completely, anything new simply has nowhere left to go. Now imagine adding a garage, then a basement, then a spacious attic. Suddenly, you have massive amounts of extra storage space available inside. Your muscles function almost exactly the same way inside your body. Every time you eat carbs, your body faces a simple choice. It can store them inside your muscles as clean, usable glycogen energy, or if that storage space is already completely full, fat accumulates instead. This is why two people eating identical meals get completely different results. The leaner, more muscular person simply owns a much larger storage warehouse. Their muscles hold significantly more glycogen before anything spills over into fat. It isn't magical genetics giving them this advantage over everyone else. It's years of deliberately building more muscle, one workout at a time. The good news is, you don't need years to start seeing benefits. Even a modest amount of new muscle changes how your body responds. It improves your metabolism and helps protect your hard-earned fat loss results. And you absolutely don't need to live inside a gym for this. A few well-planned strength sessions weekly completely change your entire trajectory. So how exactly do you build this muscle without living at the gym? Most people assume they need 6 brutal workouts every single week. Chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, arms exhausted by Wednesday afternoon already. It sounds impressive, but for most people trying to get lean, it's unnecessary. Your goal isn't becoming a professional bodybuilder standing on a competition stage. Your goal is building enough muscle to burn energy more efficiently daily. You can absolutely achieve that with just 3 focused workouts weekly. Think quality over quantity, and focus on movements training multiple muscles simultaneously. Squats, rows, push-ups, overhead presses, deadlifts, and pull-ups train everything together. These compound exercises force multiple muscle groups to work as one. Every single repetition stimulates more muscle and burns significantly more energy overall. But here's the actual secret separating people who transform from people who stagnate. It isn't the exercise itself. It's something called progressive overload consistently applied. Every week, ask your body to do just slightly more than before. 1 extra repetition, 5 more pounds, better technique, more controlled movement patterns. Your muscles don't know what day of the week it is.
They only know whether today's challenge exceeds last week's actual challenge. Give them a reason to adapt, and they will genuinely respond. Ignore this single principle, and your progress will eventually completely stall out. This is exactly why consistency always beats short bursts of intensity. 3 focused workouts weekly for an entire year beats 6 perfect ones followed by quitting completely. Your body doesn't reward occasional bursts of effort or motivation spikes. It rewards repeated, boring, unglamorous effort applied consistently over long periods. Once your training builds muscle consistently, one nutritional shift accelerates everything else. It isn't a supplement or some trendy discovered superfood at all. It's something your body has quietly been asking for the whole time. Most people wrongly assume protein exists only for serious bodybuilders chasing size. That's actually one of the biggest misconceptions circulating throughout modern nutrition today. If your real goal is losing fat and keeping it off, protein matters most. Imagine you and a friend eat meals with identical total calories. Yours is built around lean protein, theirs around processed carbs and fat. Even with identical calorie counts, your bodies won't process those calories identically. Protein is remarkably expensive for your body to actually digest and process. Scientists call this the thermic effect, meaning digestion itself burns real calories. Protein requires significantly more energy to break down than carbs or fat. Picture paying workers to unload heavy boxes off a delivery truck. The heavier those boxes, the more actual work your body performs. Protein is that heavy box, forcing your metabolism to work harder immediately. But that's genuinely only where protein's real benefits actually begin to show. Protein speaks directly to your appetite and satisfies hunger far more effectively. After a high-protein meal, your stomach sends strong fullness signals upward. Hunger-related hormones quiet down, while satisfaction hormones rise significantly higher than usual. That's why people eating enough protein often say something genuinely surprising happens. "I'm just not that hungry anymore," they say, without forcing anything. They aren't relying on raw willpower to eat less food daily. Their actual biology is quietly helping them eat less without struggling constantly. There's one more critical benefit that matters once the scale starts moving. In a calorie deficit, your body doesn't only want to burn fat. Without enough protein, it may start breaking down your hard-earned muscle instead. That means every pound you lose isn't necessarily pure body fat. Some of it could be the very muscle you worked hard building. Protein acts like insurance, protecting your muscle while fat burns instead. Remember, more muscle means a bigger metabolic engine working constantly for you. So every gram of muscle preserved today makes tomorrow's leanness genuinely easier. But even with enough protein, one hidden mistake can erase everything instantly. And most people make this exact mistake completely unknowingly every single day. Here's one of the most surprising nutrition lessons you'll ever actually learn. A food being healthy doesn't mean you can eat it unlimited amounts. This is exactly where thousands of people unknowingly sabotage their own progress daily. They swap fast food for salads, olive oil, nuts, and avocados instead. Then they genuinely wonder why the scale simply refuses to budge downward. These foods aren't unhealthy, they're just incredibly dense with hidden calories throughout. Take olive oil, one of the healthiest fats you can possibly eat. A cooking spray might contain a few calories, barely worth mentioning at all. A measured teaspoon contains several times more calories than that spray. Most people never actually measure oil, they just casually pour a generous glug.
Without realizing it, they've added hundreds of calories before taking one bite. Those extra calories don't even make you feel particularly fuller afterward either. Your salad still looks perfectly healthy, but now it erases yesterday's entire deficit. Nutrition isn't only about choosing better foods, it's genuinely about respecting portions. Healthy fats still contain fat, and fat has more calories per gram. That doesn't mean fearing fat entirely, since it supports hormones and brain function. The actual goal is simply respecting how calorie-dense these healthy foods truly are. The same exact lesson applies to nuts, dressings, smoothies, and trail mix. They're excellent food choices, but only when your portions actually match your goals. Fat loss rarely fails because of one single unhealthy meal you ate. It usually fails because dozens of tiny, invisible calories quietly accumulate daily. Once you learn to spot these hidden calories, something incredible genuinely happens. Fat loss suddenly feels much easier without giving up foods you enjoy. By now, you probably realize something important about sustainable, lasting fat loss. It isn't about finding the perfect diet, it's finding one you'll actually keep. That's exactly where most people go seriously wrong with their entire approach. They believe success absolutely requires flawless, perfect discipline every single day possible. So on Monday, they throw away every snack and swear off bread completely. No pasta, no pizza, no dessert, no exceptions allowed under any circumstances whatsoever. For a week or two, they feel genuinely unstoppable and completely motivated throughout. Then real life happens. A celebration, dinner with friends, a stressful week. They eat one slice of pizza and immediately think they've ruined everything completely. One meal becomes one day. One day becomes an entire lost weekend. Before long, they're standing exactly back where they originally painfully started from. Here's the actual truth. The pizza never caused that eventual painful failure. It was the all-or-nothing mindset quietly sabotaging their progress the entire time. Your body doesn't judge a single meal in complete dramatic isolation, ever. It responds to what you consistently do across weeks and months instead. Think of fat loss like managing your personal finances every single month. One expensive dinner won't make you bankrupt, just like one salad won't help.
What actually matters most is your overall pattern, not individual isolated moments. That's why successful people chase consistency instead of chasing impossible daily perfection. They aim to make good decisions most of the time, roughly 80%. Lean protein, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and minimally processed foods mostly. The remaining 20% is exactly where real, actual life happens naturally. Birthday cake, burgers with friends, your favorite dessert on a random weekend. Those meals aren't failures, they're simply part of a truly sustainable lifestyle. Ironically, giving yourself permission to enjoy these foods occasionally prevents future binging. When nothing is forbidden, nothing suddenly becomes irresistible or emotionally overwhelming anymore. The actual goal isn't surviving 30 perfect days of restrictive, punishing dieting. The goal is building something you can genuinely still follow 3 years later. Once you stop treating food like an enemy, one final myth remains. Many people believe getting lean will somehow damage their hormones permanently, painfully. But the actual science tells a genuinely very different story entirely instead. You've probably heard someone warn, "Don't get too lean, your testosterone crashes." It's repeated so often that people simply accept it as unquestionable fact. But is being lean actually the problem, or is it your method? Those are two genuinely completely different questions with very different answers entirely.
Here's what research consistently shows about body fat and hormone health. Carrying excess fat, especially around your waist, correlates with lower testosterone levels. It's linked to increased inflammation, poor insulin sensitivity, and metabolic disease risk. Staying overweight isn't protecting your hormones, it's often actively working against them. So why do some people feel terrible after aggressive, poorly planned dieting attempts? Low energy, constant fatigue, poor workouts, and a noticeably reduced sex drive. The answer usually isn't becoming lean, it's how aggressively they pursued it. Think about what crash diets typically involve doing to your entire body. Slashing calories in half, avoiding all fat, doing hours of daily cardio, sleeping less because you're exhausted, stressed, and running on pure willpower alone. Your body interprets all of that as genuine, prolonged, unrelenting physical stress. Stress raises cortisol, recovery suffers, and performance gradually starts dropping noticeably too. Over time, hormones can genuinely start shifting in the wrong direction entirely. But notice something important. Those problems aren't caused by healthy leanness itself. They're caused specifically by extreme, unsustainable dieting behaviors practiced without any real strategy. When you lose fat gradually while lifting weights and eating enough protein, while including healthy fats, sleeping 7 to 8 hours, avoiding extreme restriction, your body adapts in a genuinely healthy, sustainable way over time instead. Many people actually experience the complete opposite of what they originally feared: more energy, better blood sugar control, improved confidence, and stronger workout performance. Often healthier hormone profiles than when they were carrying excess body fat. So don't confuse sustainable fat loss with actual starvation. They're genuinely not equivalent. Getting lean isn't about punishing your body through extreme, unnecessary suffering constantly. It's about creating an environment where your body finally functions as intended. And now you're ready for the single most important chapter of everything. Let's put every single piece together into one complete, simple, lifelong system. Getting lean was never about one secret exercise or miracle supplement. It certainly isn't about surviving on chicken and broccoli for years straight. It's about building a system simple enough to repeat for actual years. First, meet yourself exactly where you currently are, without comparing yourself elsewhere. Forget fitness models and influencers. Focus only on beating yesterday's version, slightly. Second, master small habits. Walk more, drink fewer liquid calories daily consistently. Cut back on foods holding you back just enough to build momentum. Third, build muscle through strength training 3 or 4 times weekly consistently. Use progressive overload. Every extra rep is an investment in efficient energy burning. Fourth, make protein the true foundation of every single meal you eat. It preserves muscle, supports recovery, keeps you full, and simplifies fat loss. Fifth, watch your portions even with genuinely healthy foods you already love. Calories hidden in oils, dressings, and nuts still count toward your total. Awareness beats restriction every single time you're making real food decisions. Finally, be patient. Your body isn't a machine that transforms overnight instantly. It's an adaptation machine, learning something new from every single meal eaten. Every workout sends a signal, every walk burns a little more energy, every good night's sleep genuinely improves how well your body recovers overall. Individually, these actions seem almost insignificant, barely worth mentioning or tracking carefully. But repeated hundreds of times together, they completely transform your entire body. That's why people who stay lean for years rarely rely on motivation.